What's happening, humans? AJ here, punk poet, desperate violation of human evolution and living nightmare. I'm going to attempt something different. I'm branching out into video format. It's a bit out of my depth, but you've got to try something new every now and again, so here I go. Just a little brief zip on punk poetry. It's not John Lydon speaking to himself in the shower. That's not what punk poetry is. It's based on the Victorian sort of Shakespearean format of prose. So you're using that sort of meter, that sort of imagery, but in a more modern context. Normally it's a sort of satirical style, but it can be rather serious. So I've seen a lot of your stuff out there, and a lot of you are probably punk poets and don't know it. But yeah, it's a rather unique style, and it's something that I've sort of fallen into. Major punk poets out there, my two favourites, I suppose, would be Patti Smith, the musician, and obviously John Cooper Clarke, Dr. John Cooper Clarke, the punk poet laureate, absolute genius. If you've never seen these people, then you've been living under a rock, and you definitely need to get to see them. They are absolutely phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So my plan with this is to read and analyse my poetry, and hopefully give you an insight into my creative process, and hopefully encourage you, my fellow writers, to be critical of your own works, because you find yourself sort of writing a poem and going, you know, that's good, that's really good, but you don't know why. And it's only when you sort of look at it afterwards that you realise that your subconscious has been working in the background, and that's done the work for you. So I digress. First things first, I'm going to read out a poem called We Are. It's an 8-line poem with a lot of repetition in it, and it's very simple, very basic, but it's more complex as it goes on. So I'll read it out and then I'll do the analysis. So here we go. We are. We're under the guise, we're under the sails, we're under the canvas of successes and fails. We're over the mountains, we're over the moon, we're the weavers of futures, we're the weavers of doom. Simple, effective. Those words are nice, you've got the repetition in there. I'll start at the top. Okay, so the poem's called We Are. I do not use the words we are specifically within the poem. I use the word we're, which is the contraction of we are. So you've got, in the English language, you've got we are, we're, and were. Because it's a convoluted structure, the English language. You know, the British, we got our asses kicked for a lot of time. You know, the Vikings kicked their asses, the Romans kicked their asses, and because of that, we had a lot of different languages coming in, and we took the bits we liked and sort of like stretched it out and moved it here, moved it there. And that's the way language works in the British sort of colonies and what have you. There's a lot of convolution there, and it's a wonderful thing, but it also makes English quite a difficult language to learn. So you've got languages like French, German, Italian, Spanish, even Japanese. I mean, I know it's not a Latin language, but they're very structured languages, whereas English is really fluid. You can do a lot of stuff with it. You know, it's really malleable. So that's a really fun thing to play with as an English writing poet. Also within the poem, I use sails and canvas as two of the images. These are two man-made things, right? I know that seems simple, but I'll come back to that. And then I've also got mountains and moon, which are two natural things. So you've got that sort of juxtaposition. You've got those two sort of mirror images. And then towards the end, you've got weavers of futures, weavers of doom. It's the weaving that's the big thing here. Sails and canvas are weaved things, okay? Sails and canvas, weaved things. And under and over is the way you weave something. I don't know if you've ever weaved anything before. I went to a show years and years ago and I got to weave something. Oh, such a wonderful time. It was so satisfying, such a wonderful thing. But yeah, it's literally over and under. So you've got all of those images sort of like flowing into each other. And then obviously throughout, like I said, you've got the mirror images and the positivity and negativity in there as well. So you've got 8 lines there, 8 lines, and they explain the most basic of basics, but in a complex way. So, I mean, you can make a poem out of 2 lines. You know, minimalism is a wonderful thing. I'll go back to Dr. Clark, my absolute fave, and he came up with a 2-line poem called Necrophilia. Someone's got to touch on the subject, I suppose. And his poem went, fed up of foreplay and all that palaver, avacadabra. It's simple, it's effective. It uses those uses that alliteration. It uses that wonderful sound ringing, and it's satirical. It's funny. It's but it's 2 lines, but it expresses so much. So you don't need to write epics all the time. I mean, I do enjoy writing an epic every now and again. I don't tend to post them on Instagram because the attention span is a difficult thing when it comes to Instagram, because people generally tend to sort of like scroll. You know who you are. But yeah, I hope this has helped you out. I've really enjoyed doing this. Actually, to be fair, I think I'm going to do a load more of these. It's been really fun. So let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see any more, or if there's any of my poems you want to see me read out loud and sort of dissect to the point where it's just bleeding on the floor. So yeah, thank you for your time, and thank you if you've listened to this all the way through, and enjoy writing, guys, and much love, much peace, enjoy yourselves. Mwah.